What's going on, Lash? Welcome back, guys. This is SOB Strikeout Bros, episode 19. Things are getting ugly for everybody involved, and we know what teams those are. If you guys listen to us, you know Lash is a Brave fan, a Baltimore Oriole fan at heart, and a closet Met fan. Me, myself, I'm a true Met fan. No Yankees. None of that other nonsense. But, we're going to be talking about the Yankees today. Lash is, getting a little bite in. It's late. We're trying to make it happen. We're late this week, but we have a lot of good information for you guys. It's crazy how this season just completely turned to shit for the New York Mets, the New York Yankees. And those are the two teams that we definitely expected to, do things this year because they made a lot of big moves in the offseason. And New York is really ever out of the playoffs. Even if, the Mets just started playing well, but the Yankees are pretty much in the playoffs every year. And we thought that Baltimore was going to come around and, take over the division. And that's not what's happening. Yeah, that's not what's happening. Lasha, please. Chime in.
No. Well, for those that have been listening, if you listened to the beginning of the first episode of this season, I kind of predicted. I didn't have a great feeling on Baltimore. I predicted them to finish like third just because we didn't have a rotation. And if you want to win, you got to have a rotation. If you don't have a rotation, you're not going to win. I don't care if you have the top five prospects all playing on your team. Baltimore never addressed their weakness, which is their starting rotation, and then it's a trickle down effect, and it messes up the bullpen. So they became sellers. They traded away their best relievers and other players, and basically expiring contracts at the end of the year. So that's what they did. But as far as the Yankees and Mets, which the thing that's surprising about them is those two teams combined have $600 million payroll combined, probably. Maybe Yankees have a little bit more. The Mets just starting to get up there because they got a new owner who's got more money. But the thing is, the difference between the Mets and the Yankees, in my opinion, is the Mets have a better talent than the Yankees. The Yankees just have fill-ins that are going to expire or leave at the end of the year, where Mets have solid players that can be on the team for the next 10 years if all goes well, if their projections go the way they need it to go. Um, for the Yankees, what stands out the most, their troubles is they just make too many errors, man. You can't keep Volpe makes mistakes. The other day against Miami, Junior Caminero, the guy they traded from Tampa Bay, he's a second baseman. They haven't played outfield. It's another dumb thing the Yankees do. They play players out of position, and they wonder why I have all these mistakes going on. Anyway, he went to go get a line drive ball. He went to go scoop it up and completely missed, and Miami came back and tied the game and won it, and because of that error. So they make
Yeah.
a lot of mistakes. And then the problem with the Mets is they just have a hard time scoring runs with runners in scoring position. It's their crutch. I don't know what it is. I don't know how you fix it. And then that also has a trickle down effect because what happens is now your starting rotation, which was really the glue in the beginning of the first half of the season that held that team together and
Impressive at the beginning of the season.
propelled them to 20. They were 21. It blows my mind that the Mets were and the Yankees were both at least 21 games above 500 and just running
Smoking
away with the
everybody.
league.
Smoking. But
Who would have
we had
thought that Baltimore's technically 10 games behind the Yankees in the win column? That's crazy. No one would have
Yeah.
thought that.
No, it's pretty
But
crazy.
I don't know.
But listen, I have the numbers here for like recent averages for every ball club, right? And this is how you know, like, number one, Toronto Blue Jays. They have been super excellent. They went on a run and they said, we're taking over the division. This division is ours. They did this after signing Vladdy for all that money. I can't remember the exact figure, but they signed him. They didn't want him to go free agent, so they did what they had to do. I didn't think the team was ready to go on a run. I think they needed a lot more pieces. For some reason, it worked out. They're batting 269 right now as a combined team, combined unit. Next in line will be the Houston Astros, batting at 258. Then, they just acquired Carrera They got him back, so that's gonna definitely help them. And then, of course, the mighty Milwaukee Brewers. You know, Chicago was riding high all season, and the Brewers came out of nowhere. They're on a 9-game winning streak right now after sweeping the Mets and walking them off in the bottom of the ninth in Milwaukee. The Mets were up 5-0. 5-0. Okay, this is all I want to say. They were up 5-0, and they got to the bullpen, and it happened. It happened. All right, the Mets have lost what, 7 in a row. Okay, we're gonna talk about that too. The next team up is the Philadelphia Phillies, another team that, they were playing baseball. They were quiet. They lost Harper for a while. They put it back together, and now they're batting 255 combined. Fourth leaders of the division now in the National League East because the Mets don't own that anymore, and I don't think they'll ever come back from it either because right now they're 5.5 games back, and it's not looking good. Then we have the Dodgers, and this is the funny shit right here. Right after the Dodgers batting 255, tied for fourth place with the Phillies, we have the Athletics, Boston, Chicago, all tied for six. Miami, Detroit, Tampa Bay, San Diego, St. Louis, the Yankees, Arizona, Cincinnati. Have you noticed the pattern? I still haven't mentioned the Mets. Okay, and we go down. Atlanta at 21, Baltimore at 22, batting 241 for Atlanta, 240 for Baltimore. And then after Baltimore, here come the Mets at 23, batting 239 combined. And this is exactly what you're talking about. They're not hitting at all. All
And you
right.
said
And
this stat is from since the All Star break
no, this
or
this is this
since
is
when?
this is right now. This is right
Within the
now.
last 10 games, I guess.
This is right now. This is what's happening right now.
Wow. And it's crazy because if you just came down to earth and you saw that first time, you would think
Because the
that the
Mets are
Mets were
garbage.
rebuilding or just under 500, and you
Yeah.
realize what they're 10 games over 500, or what is it, 9 now? You would be like, what? How are they below Baltimore, who's 9, 10 games
Mm-hmm.
under 5 or 11 under 500?
They're not
But
below
it,
Baltimore, but as a team, Baltimore's batting way better than they are.
a better average. I see what you
Better,
mean. Yeah,
better batting average.
stats wise,
Yeah, stat wise. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
And this
know.
is what it's disturbing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, we're 24th in the league, got a 30 teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, listen. My dad has, I don't know about, everybody talks about these stupid mascots and shit, right? It's pretty funny. So we went through the Pablo Sanchez one, which is like a video game or something for the Nintendo or the
First was
Switch.
Grimace.
It was Grimace, right? And then the Oh My God symbol, that worked, right? I guess, whatever, if you want to be superstitious. Then we went through the Pablo Sanchez mascot. That took us like to 6, 7 games in a row. Then that fell apart. Then the Klondike Bear happened to be at the stadium. So we tried to run with that. That didn't work out. But you know what always works out, which is crazy funny? My dad, he lives in Puerto Rico. He comes down, and every time he goes to City Field, they win. That's this year for the 25 season. Every time he goes to the park, he wins. All right, so I'll give you a perfect example of how that works. So we played San Francisco after we swept them over there. They came back home with us. They won the first game. My dad went to the second game. They were giving a Francisco Alvarez bobblehead. He's crazy for those shits. He went, he got his bobblehead. Guess what? They won 12-6. The next day, they lost. They lost the series, and then they kept losing from there. Cleveland came to town, destroyed, swept the Mets. Milwaukee, we traveled over there. Milwaukee's on fire. They swept us. And now we have to play Atlanta. We can't play Atlanta. Atlanta always gets us.
Yeah, Atlanta just I think they just swept the series from Miami. But Atlanta's not going anywhere. I'm telling you, man, the Mets have to take advantage of Atlanta. Atlanta knows they're not going anywhere. They didn't really sell much pieces. They sold like a couple pitchers, and that's just about it. They didn't sell any of their big guys. So they didn't really do much. But you gotta take advantage of Atlanta. Atlanta is below Miami. That's how bad they
Yeah,
are
it's
in the
bad, but it's not
standings.
gonna happen, bro. Listen,
But for
Phil.
some reason, they see Atlanta and they freak out and they just poop the bed. Milwaukee, I kind of understand losing Milwaukee just because Milwaukee is a really well-rounded team. They have really good starting pitching, a lot of pitchers you don't know of besides Brandon Woodruff, and their offense is sneaky good with Contreras behind the plate, Yelich, and what's his name, Jackson Cherio, excuse me, and then so on and so and Joey Ortiz, who came from the Orioles. But I watched today's game against the Mets, and when I saw that fourth, because I watched the fourth inning, I said, "Oh boy, this is bad news." The guy Mania, he was doing great, and then the fourth inning, he threw over 30 pitches in the fourth inning, and that's what wiped
Smoked.
him out. They had to take
Yep.
him out. What are you gonna do? He's at 80 pitches in the fourth inning. He had a good
Yeah.
first inning. He had a good second inning. Second inning was about like 20 pitches. Then he went back down to like 17. And then third inning
No,
wasn't too bad, and then the fourth inning it just like jumped right up to 80 pitches.
that's
It
the
was like,
problem this year. The
and they
Mets
had no
can't
choice.
pitch past the fifth inning. They can't.
Well, so the thing is you kind of give him a break because he's just
He
coming
just
back
came
from
back. Yeah.
injury. So you let him work out his, work through his rough, feathers. Get out his crinkles or whatever you want to call it. But the problem is you can't afford to do it because
No, no,
letting him working out his problems is going to cost you games. But that's he's not the reason why he lost. The reason
no.
why he lost because you have runners in scoring position. I think it was like the sixth or seventh inning or the eighth, and you could have, the Mets did a valiant effort coming back, and they just couldn't score when they needed to, and then just like not Minnesota, Milwaukee took advantage of it, and they beat him. So the problem is like you said, if you're, and this is the problem with baseball, and all teams have it. That's why if you look at all the trades, more relief pitchers were traded more than ever
Yes.
than any other player because baseball is pro bullpen and pro and not for the starters. Average starters last 4.5 innings nowadays, which is ridiculous
It's
compared to the
ridiculous.
early 2000s when
Come on, man. In my era,
these
they
guys
used to go
lasted
all the
seven
way.
innings. You know,
In my era, they went all the way, bro. If
yeah,
they
not
could,
like
they
that.
could. You
And then you
know,
bring
if
in
they,
Mariano, close out, or for the Mets, you
it's
bring in
over.
Wagner, and the series, the game's over. But
But
this is what happens when you teach your players to throw 100 miles per hour. You wear out quicker. It's a lot more energy exerted throwing 100 miles per hour. You're putting a lot of force, and
yeah,
so it's in my opinion this is the question I've always been thinking about with the Mets. I wonder if they were really thinking about pursuing a starting pitcher. It just the
they.
demand
That's what I
for the
read.
return was too high, and it's like we
That's what
can't
I
afford to
read.
do that.
Yes, that's
And
exactly what I read.
I think if they could do it again, I think they probably realize, you know what, maybe we should got a starter more than
Two
because here's my opinion. This is what I would have done if that was the Mets. If they had gotten a starter, you could have not put Holmes if you had to
in the
in the
bullpen.
bullpen, and now he's your eighth inning setup, and then you could have Rogers or the other guy. Wasn't the other guy you got from
Helsley.
yeah, Hansley, whatever his name from Cincinnati. You could add them 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, and now your bullpen's a little straightened out. You know your rotation, and then so I don't know if that was a plan too. I feel like that could have been an option,
No,
but I think
well,
the demand for starting pitching is way too high, and no team, not even the Yankees, are going to give it the top prospect for a pitcher that you might not even be able to be signed at the end of the year, or someone who has 2 years of controllability, and so the risk was not worth the reward. So that's why the Mets say, you know what, we'll just improve the bullpen and hope to goodness that these guys will just work
yeah, but it's
and
not happening.
solve the issue because the bullpen has been kind of an issue, but it's
It's
because
been because
the
of the
lack of
taxing.
effort from the
Yeah,
starting. Yeah,
but you gotta understand that this is not gonna happen. We didn't get the starting pitching now. We have to go downstairs and bring up Sprout and bring up McLean. And if we don't do that, we have to try something because this is what I wanted. I actually wanted this sweep to happen because something has to happen. You know what I'm saying? For them to say, okay, this is not working out, and we need to figure it out ASAP because we're about to get smoked out. And the funny thing about it is that if the season ended today, they would be the last wild card. After all that, they would still be the last wild card. Which is pretty crazy. And the same for the Yankees. The Yankees they own the last wild card right now at the moment. So after all that, we're still in the playoffs, and It makes me sick to my stomach because I already know that we can't compete against all these amazing teams out there right now because we don't have it in us. It's like they lost momentum and they don't care anymore. It's like it's weird. It's like they're not even trying. I can't explain it. It makes me sick to my stomach. I don't even want to watch them play. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, well, it's well, the problem with the Yankees is they keep putting Devin Williams out. That's the guy they traded for the
Yeah,
closer, and he
that's the
just
guy that
keeps
got
imploding.
smoked by
Eighth inning
Alonso.
implodes, ninth inning implodes, and then the crazy thing is you just got Bednar and Duvall. I think it's Duvall from the Giants. Why don't you put him in a closer situation? You know, I saw the game the other day because I was talking to my dad, and Bednar came in. He's like, I don't know why they don't pitch this guy. Why they keep pitching this guy when he just
They keep
can't.
doing that. Both teams keep doing that. They
It's like,
keep
what are you
bringing the
doing?
same guy up and burning him out and putting him in situations that are really difficult for a man that's coming up every single night. Like you have so many people in your bullpen, switch it up, do something. It's crazy.
Yeah,
The Mets, the lineups kill me. I hate the lineup. I don't like the way they keep trying to shake up the lineup to see if they can figure out what's going on, but it's not. None of it is working, and I think it's because they don't have the right players on the field. And the funny shit is that we got Cedric Mullins, right? So I'm like, wow, what are they gonna do now? They're gonna have to DFA Tyrone Taylor. No, they don't do that. They sent Acuna down to make space for Cedric, which is insane to me. Instead of just DFAing Tyrone and saying, you know what, thank you for your services, and playing Cedric every day, Tyrone is still taking time away from Cedric Mullins. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me. That bothers me. The fact that they keep platooning at third and second, that bothers me. The fact that McNeil is not coming off the bench, that bothers me. They keep swapping Lindor and Soto and Alonso and Nimmo. They're juggling them back and forth. Nimmo can't even hit right now. Like
and
it
he was
just,
your most consistent player
yeah,
throughout the first half.
exactly,
Him and
exactly.
Alonso.
You know,
For it's I don't know because like when I saw the line, the first day after the trade, I was like, what? Why is I think I messaged the group and I said, why is Mullins not playing? You traded all this to get him. He's not playing. What are we doing?
yeah, he's not
And the other
playing.
thing is he's not even like he's not really producing like you expect him so far.
I mean, he's
Eventually
not
get
playing.
hot.
You know,
So it's
like
just like I saw the other day he got on base today. It was an unearned stolen base, but and I was like, he's because he was doing great when he left Baltimore. He was mashing, robbing plays. I was like, why is Tyrone Taylor? I think the reason why the Mets, here's my opinion, the reason why the Mets are not DFAing him because they have more years of controllability with Tyrone Taylor than they do Cedric Mullins.
that
So their
is
thing
true.
is, if worse comes to worse, we can't resign Mullins. He's young. He's older than Tyrone Taylor. At least we
Hmm.
have Tyrone Taylor. So he's a plan B, but plan A for next year, maybe if they can't sign a good free agent center field. That's the other problem. I don't know how many good center fielders there are that are still young and can play that position well.
Now
Roberts is
listen,
kind of getting past
I
his
would give
prime.
I would give
Mullins
Mullins
is
a two
past his
year.
prime.
I would give him 2 years. That's not a bad look for us. You know what I'm saying? To start the year off fresh and know that we don't have to platoon at center field, that works for me. I feel like the Mets have too many players and they don't know what to do with them. You know what I'm saying? And they're not using them to the best of their capabilities. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we should be number one in stolen bases, hands down. But we
Yeah,
don't
with
use our pieces.
Acuna, Mullins,
Mullins, we and
Nimmo,
Nemo, Lindor. You know, like
Lindor. Yeah,
we're Tyrone Taylor. Since we want to keep him, he's another asset in that situation. You're not using these pieces. Probably Mauricio. I can continue to name names that we should have over 100 stolen bases. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Easily,
Mauricio.
and we're not making that happen. we're not making
Yeah,
that happen.
I don't know, and then the other thing I'm noticing watching the games is I feel like no the players are not disciplined at the plate anymore. They're so desperate to get hits and they're just swinging at balls. So
Yeah,
about
it's
Lindor
crazy.
today, and he's just like swinging that ball like literally in the bottom of freaking in like literally like below the ankles of the catcher, and I was like, what are you doing, man? It's just like, but there's the pressure because there's runners on. He's
Pressure.
trying to get
Yeah,
him over. And so
it changes everything.
desperate times call for desperate measures, and the desperate measures in baseball is just swinging at anything and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty
um,
crazy.
and that's not gonna work, and that's why you have a high strikeout rate. And the thing that bothers me is that Lindor is very disciplined, in my opinion, for the most part, at the plate. He has a history of being very disciplined, but it's good. You can be disciplined when you're not in stress, and but when you're in stress and you see yourself literally losing first place in the division. And for the Mets and the Yankees, you got to win the division. It makes a big difference because you get a week off break. You can reset up the lineup the way you want it. You can set up the rotate, more so set up your rotation the way you want it than the lineup, because the lineup is not going to be affected whether you have a week off or 2 days off. You know what I mean? But the rotation, yes, you can give your guys a break. Montez, hopefully, Manai can get back to last year's form. Maybe Holmes Peterson gets back on track. Right, Peterson?
Peterson's doing his
Not
job. He's the
Peterson.
only guy going over
Yeah,
7.
Peterson, Holmes, things like that. But yeah, Peterson and Holmes has been the most consistent guys in the rotation. Um, so I don't know how you fix it. And I
I
truly
don't know.
believe it's like football. You know, the defense feeds off of how well the offense does. If the offense is doing well, scoring touchdowns, moving the ball, the defense steps up. In baseball, if the pitching rotation is doing well and they're striking guys out and holding guys, not doing runs, the offense does pick them up. You know what I mean? For the most part, or defensively. And
That's not
um,
happening right now.
but that's not happening. But you know what? I'd rather have if you ask me which situation would you rather be in, the Yankees or the Mets, I say the Mets, because the Mets aren't losing because of terrible fielding errors, or blown saves. They're just losing because they can't score runs.
No, they're
But
losing
eventually
because
that
of
can be
that too.
solved. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But when you're a team like the Yankees, how do you fix the errors? How do you? It's. I feel like the problem with the Yankees. I feel like there's no consequences. They just keep putting the same guy out there. They're so invested in Volpe. Yeah, he's horrible at pinch hitting. He's making it's just honest, you know what I mean? He just keeps he's cost you so many games. Thank goodness for Paul Goldschmidt. He's saved him so many errors probably. It's just like and then the other problem is the Yankees are playing the players out of position. For the most part the Mets don't really have a lot of players out of position. Third base maybe, but even then it's not a major issue, you know what I mean? It's just the guys are not just hitting. They come up to the plate, they strike out, or they pop out, or double play, and then so you create no momentum. And that's what they were doing in the beginning. They had little momentum. Alonso picked them up. The pitching picked them up. Diaz has been great all year too. Nimmo was great, but all of a sudden he got into a cold spell.
Yeah, it's bad,
So
man.
now listen, in my opinion, you got a month to get yourself straight. In the next month, if you can go, what is it? 20? I forgot how many games there are in a month. It's like
It doesn't
25
matter.
games.
You know how many games
If
we've
you
won
can
this
win that,
month? You know how many
how
games we
many?
won?
9
One.
in the month of July, August.
Of August, one. Yankees
Yeah,
won 2 games. We won 1 game. Okay, this is a serious problem. It's not a joke. Like people think it's a joke. Now, when you look at the wild card, situation, we're the only team
it's
that's lost
scary.
6 in a row. Right? We're in the middle of this pack. We have the last, slot, and we lost 6 in a row. We're not gonna. Cincinnati's right behind us. We're not gonna keep that slot either. That's the way we're playing right now. Philadelphia's gonna run with the division. They're already at 5.5. It's gonna continue to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Now we have to work really hard to get back up there. Because now we have to win and Philly has to lose. It's gonna take forever. It's gonna come down to like we have to win the majority of the games that are left. I believe we're like at 40 something games left, and it's not looking good. It's just not. But we're gonna, step aside and we're gonna stop crying a little bit, and there's a new sheriff in town, and we have to salute. And this is the first time that there's a female ump out there, and she went out there in Atlanta, and she got a standing ovation when they called out her name. She's been an ump for a while now. She's a 48-year-old, young lady named Powell, and she's the first one in the major leagues. I like that. I like that. I don't see why we can't have coaches. It's a mental game. People forget that baseball is a chess match, and if you have the know-how and you know how to move pieces, and there shouldn't be it shouldn't be a problem for women to be able to do that in the sport. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we shouldn't have co-ed teams, but in upper management, obviously, and on the field as well as coaches. You know what I'm saying? I don't see as trainers. I don't see why there shouldn't be more women. You know?
Yeah, no, in football you already got female coaches in the in the NBA, excuse me, you have female coach. I know the Spurs, their top assistant is a female coach. Things like that. So, why not? You know what I mean? To me, doesn't matter who's, if they
Exactly.
know the game just as well as the men, give them a shot. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? If they can do the better job at being umpire than the male umps, I guarantee you she's probably better than Angel Hernandez. My
Oh,
goodness,
guaranteed.
she got better
Guaranteed.
eyes. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just crazy. So I think it's cool. It's good for her.
It's
I
good for
didn't
the
just watch
sport.
any other game. It's good for the sport, but hopefully that opens the doors and gives her opportunity. And so who knows? Maybe we'll see what happens. But I like it. It's good to be progressive in certain areas. I know baseball is viewed as like a old historic, and we can't change it. And it's like
Get out.
everyone treats baseball like it's church, and you can't. It's traditional, and you can't. Yes, it is in some ways, but some things you gotta adjust. You know what I mean? And to me, it doesn't male or female doesn't affect the game.
It
What affects
doesn't.
the game are the players on the team. The job of umpire is just to make sure like the pitches are call balls and strikes and outs. That's all
That's
they
it.
do. They don't
That's it.
interfere with the game. And nowadays with cameras and everything, if she makes a bad call, okay, it's not the end of the world. She gets bailed out by a review, and they move
Exactly.
on and say, okay, she was wrong. Okay, the guy is safe at first. Okay, cool, no biggie. No one's gonna bash her or beat her up.
Exactly.
So to me, it's and you didn't notice a difference in the game, in my opinion. If you didn't tell me she was playing or umpiring, I would have no clue until he says it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
no one really cares about the umpires until a bad call happens. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They want names, especially
Yeah, and
against
they're
your
like, oh
team.
my goodness, everybody remembers the ump that blew the perfect game for Armando Galarraga in Detroit in years ago. They know his name. Everyone knows Angel Hernandez. Why? Because he's notorious for doing bad things. It's just like my job. You know what I mean? If I keep making mistakes, guess what? You're gonna be known for all the time you make mistakes.
That's
Same,
right.
same thing with your job. Hey, it's just the way it is. But good for her. I
Exactly. Yeah.
hope she
Good
opens
for
the door
Jen.
for.
Jen
I hope
Powell.
she opens the door. Yep. I hope she opens the door for more women. You know what I mean? Because some there's people who love baseball like you and I. I just can't play a game, but you know what? Maybe I could be an umpire. Maybe I could be a coach.
Exactly.
I
Why
can
not?
still be part of the game. You know what I mean? And to me, I think umpire is the second best thing than being a player. You don't have to work out. You don't have to run. You don't have to work out. You don't have. You might have to
Nah, I
work
mean
out,
you have to
but
work. You have to work out. It's a.
you
It's.
gotta
It's
work out. You can't be a fat slob, but you don't have to you don't have to put in the grind of training camp and or spring training and and all this, a 5 hour stretch before prep for the game. You just I'm sure they have their mental preps they got to do. Situational. They probably do go through situational or awareness situations, how to deal with this situation if this comes up, how to deal with this challenge if this comes up, how to deal with if someone comes at you, coach comes at you, blah blah blah. So they go over all those stuff, but
yeah. They have
from a
protocols like
physical
everybody
standpoint,
else.
it's not
As taxing, but it's still
daunting, yeah, or
it still
tasking.
is though. It still is though. If you think about it, you have to stand there. You have to watch every play. You have to make sure you get out of the way. You can't fuck up a play. You can't get smacked by a ball. And it really
Yeah.
happens. You know what I'm saying? So you can see how they're trained. You have to. You can't
And
wander
now
off
they
mentally.
wear helmets on all the bases, I think. So
I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah, because it's dangerous out there. It definitely is.
yeah,
But we're gonna move on now, right? And we're gonna talk
yeah,
about Mr. Cal Raleigh. You
man,
know?
he's just killing
Oh
it.
man, Jesus. I think he's cheating a little bit. Because on his
Maybe.
off days he's DHing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, obviously he's a catcher that's DHing on that day. So he's breaking them. He's breaking the numbers. He's getting places with these little cheats. Because think about it. if you were Johnny Bench and you played for the Cincinnati Reds, right, and you have a record that you put together, right, and back in the day we didn't have a DH. You know what I'm saying? So the pitcher was batting in the National League. So Johnny Bench didn't even have a opportunity to jump into games when he was resting, but Cal does. So is he really breaking the record? Should there be an asterisk on his name because of it? Because that's interesting, you know. I don't. I want to hear what you have to say about that before we talk about what kind of numbers he's putting up.
Well, that's kind of. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that he's cheating
No, it's not cheating. It's like
with.
a gimme, you know, like a little. You know, they shouldn't be comparing him to Johnny Bench and the record that he has during the single season for a
For
catcher.
catchers, yeah, him and Salvador
Because,
Perez.
exactly, they shouldn't be doing that because Johnny Bench was unable to DH on his days off. So is he really breaking the record because he's a catcher? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or should they delete the times he hit the home runs as a DH to
Oh, I see what
truly,
you mean.
you see
Only
what I'm
count the
saying?
home runs when
And
he's in as a catcher instead of a
catcher
DH.
H.
Yeah, I don't know because like it's no because think about it, when Judge was going for 62 home runs 2 years ago, there was times where he DH two plus played it. You know what I mean? So are you gonna say, oh, we're only gonna count the home runs when he was an outfielder? No.
No.
So you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, but
it. He's a position player, so technically it
yes.
doesn't matter. It's not like he's a
No, no, but it
uh,
does matter because at the end of the day, right? They're not saying our DH Cal Raleigh broke the record. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not going against anybody. You know what I'm saying? They're saying our catcher has hit more home runs than any other catcher in the history of baseball during a season. Yeah, but on his days off, he was DHing.
I don't know. I don't think it really matters because at the end
Matters
of
to
the day,
me.
his no, it doesn't matter because his what's his true position? DH or hit catcher?
Catcher. He's a
Catcher.
catcher.
Okay, that's his true position. That's what he's known for. Just like Judge, his true position is center field. Soto, true position, out left
Right
fielder,
fielder.
whatever it is,
Right
right
fielder.
fielder. You know what I mean?
DH sometimes, yeah.
So, but he'll DH. It does not mean that doesn't mean that it doesn't count. You know what I mean?
No,
You
but
know.
but for this specific position, you know what I'm saying, where you play 2 days and you have to take rest, you know what I'm saying, because it's fucking crazy.
Well,
And
they take rest because they, catcher has more wear and tear on their body
of
than the
course,
outfielder because they're squatting. Imagine squatting
exactly, yeah,
for 9 innings
exactly. So
straight.
imagine the home plate has to squat too, but guess what? This is why he doesn't have to do it every day because he can get first base tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna be behind the plate 2 days in a row. You know, but
I don't know. I don't think it matters
damn, I don't know.
because
Well,
because because think about it. If they had a DH back in Johnny Bench days, you don't
they
think he would
did
have been
that.
used
Well,
as a
they no, no, but they
DH?
had one in the American League. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have one in the National League.
No, I
That's the
see what you
thing.
mean.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, but now that
but
yeah, now I don't know.
you know, yeah, Johnny Bench didn't have the option to do that. You know, but it's okay. I see what you're saying.
I
You
think
know,
yeah. I
but
think it's a big deal because most catchers are not known for home run hitters. They're mostly known for controlling the game. They're more so known for catching than anything else. Most catchers that you know are not like home run bomb, hitters.
no, exactly. This is
You
why
know,
this is important.
Salvador Perez was
He's a big guy.
a anomaly, and so was Remember, don't forget Buster Posey,
Yeah, but supposed to
notorious
be
catcher.
huge.
He hit a
Yeah,
lot of home runs.
he did.
You know what I mean? So he's
Yeah.
not the only one.
No, he's not
It
the
just,
only
but
one.
most catchers don't, and
Don't
it's
hit
a
like
rarity
that.
to see him. Just like how it's a rarity to see Aaron Judge sitting in 62 home runs.
Yeah,
How
it's
many left
crazy.
field, center field, or not, how many left field, right fielders hit that many home runs? Not too many, or left field,
And
whatever it is.
yeah, and hit for a high
You know what I
average
mean?
too.
Yeah, not too many.
Not too many.
That's why it's a nominee. It's amazing. So
No, it
that's
is
the same
amazing.
thing. That's why they're like, wow, this is pretty impressive for someone who's a catcher. He's been able to do that.
Yeah, he's
Um,
right behind Johnny Bench. He's one away.
Now,
And
if it was a situation where he was always DHing and then he caught once in a while, then it shouldn't. Then I could be like, yeah, he should be more accounted for DH than catcher because he only catches once in a while. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But
But he's
catching
on
is his
his way.
main. But yeah, he's been great and he's literally carried that team because Julio Rodriguez hasn't been done much. J.P. Crawford's all right. Ty France, I think Ty France is still there.
This is
And then they
crazy.
just got Suarez back, or reacquired Suarez in the trade. Um, but yeah, he's the main reason Seattle's been great. And see, I look at Seattle like Toronto, like how do we know? Are they really for real, or they're just playing in a bad division, taking advantage of it? You know what I
Mm,
mean?
I don't know, but
I
the
know,
thing about
yeah.
this guy, he's the truth. And the funny thing is that, he just won the home run derby, right? And people
Mm-hmm.
always say, we talk about this all the time. It's funny, you know what I'm saying? We don't really talk about it over the airwaves and shit like that, but we're talking about it now. And we always talk about this, and we always say that, you know, when a guy goes into the home run derby, he kind of like fucks up his mechanics. And I have the numbers for that. So after the All Star break and after winning the home run derby, he went 15 for 77 at the plate, batting 195. You know what I'm saying? So it's, the numbers speak for themselves. All right? The numbers speak for themselves. It definitely fucks up your mechanics, I think. It happened to Alonso. It's happened to a lot of people that, we've seen go up there. And now you see that these guys don't, Alonso had a good first half, right? And he had no intention of going into that home run derby. Because you can tell that Alonso worked on his swing in the offseason after acquiring that 2-year contract from the Mets. So, because he came back a completely different player. The whole team is struggling now, but Alonso did carry us in the first half. You know what I'm saying? When nobody else was hitting, Alonso was definitely smashing them. And let's see, maybe he can hit 40 home runs this year. We never know. But these Mets, the pitching, horrible. 28th in innings pitched by the rotation. That's how bad we are. There's two teams that are worse than us. That's pretty crazy. All right, we can't pitch passes. Fifth inning, Peterson's the only one that's able to do that, and we haven't been able to do that since June 7th. All right, that's how bad it is. But I'm tired of this team. This team's making me sick to my stomach. It's nothing like last year's, and you know the Phillies are number one. You know why?
Man,
Zach Wheeler, Sanchez. They have 659 innings, logged in as a starting rotation. All right, compared to the 582 in the third by
Albert
the
Suarez, I
by
think
the
that's his name.
Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the Phillies, they got more dangerous because they got some lights out closer in Duran, and he's been lights out for them since they got him.
yeah. I don't even understand how they did that over there.
And
They got rid
they
of
you
him.
can tell they're in it. They're all or nothing. They're in it to win the whole thing. At least they're gonna try to.
Of course they are. They're gonna take the division. Trust me. I believe it. I believe it. I don't think that
Ye-
there's no way the Mets can make it back. Or wild card, maybe. But guess who hit his 40th home run of the season again?
Who?
Otani. Otani.
Otani. Oh yeah.
He's on pace again. This guy's disgusting. Back-to-back seasons with 40 home runs, at least 40 home runs, because you know what he did last year, and he's gonna do it again this year. He's just crazy, bro. Like this, he's a monster. He's definitely worth every single penny. You know, I don't know. He's pretty
Yeah, man.
crazy.
He's and then I think next year he'll be back to starting full time. This year they just have him in slot starts, give him more time to get his arm back together.
Nah, he's pitching way better now. It took him a while to figure it out. Well, I think he's almost back to form. He's almost back to form. He's looking good. Another guy that's killing me that I still can't understand how the Pirates could just let go of Skeens and put such an amazing team together, or for those trades alone, and probably even be competitive at that point. You know, because Skeens is worth every single penny. Whatever you give up for him, I'm surprised they. I guess he's a staple there now. He's like Trout over at Anaheim. I don't know, but this guy's pitching like a maniac. He's disgusting. I don't know what to tell you. He's pitching like a man that needs to be on a rotation.
That's a waste of good talent on a
Exactly. Thank
terrible
you. You
team.
took the words right out of my mouth.
But
It's
The
just
problem is he has 4 years of controllability left. Um, and so because last year he started halfway through the year, and now this is his first full year as a starter. And Pittsburgh. Here's what Pittsburgh is gonna do. Pittsburgh is gonna hold on to him as long as they can until the second to or either the last year he has remaining of controllability, and then they're gonna try to, and hope that by then his ceiling is still high, that the demand in return
what
he
if
can
he's
get a
pitching like
lot back in
this?
return.
Yeah,
Yeah. So because hit their Pittsburgh's worst fears is that Pittsburgh figures it out. They get all the right guys they need. They start getting well, and
and
all of a
no
sudden now you
pitching.
don't have schemes.
They don't have no
And their
pitching.
rotation is not that bad. You know what I mean? You got rid of the closer, but the rotation it wasn't. It's not a terrible rotation. It's not like Colorado's, or Baltimore's, but it's just so what's it's like what's Pittsburgh supposed to do? They just seem like, all right, well, we'll just win the games he pitches, and we lose. Oh well, at least we still have control. But in hopes that maybe I think their hope is that within the next 3 years, however many years of control, because remember you have 5 years of controllability, you know, but if they come up sooner than a certain amount of times in the minors, then you lose that extra year of controllability,
Hmm.
and so either you have to pay them more money or they're more likely to hit the free agency a lot quicker. So they're hoping that maybe in the next 2 years, because this is year number two now, first full year, but 3 years left, including this year, to try to be competitive and try to maybe make the run. But Pittsburgh is so
Not
far
if you're
away.
spending money. If you're not spending money, you're not gonna get there.
Well,
But
yeah,
they're gonna have to figure it out. Yo, this guy's pitching. Yo, he's crazy. So 47 career starts, right? This is the first time he just got hit for he got for seven for the first time in his career. 47 starts. That's crazy. All right, that's how he keeps batters. Batters in scoring position. He has everybody on lockdown. They're batting 175 as a collective, the whole league. Any team that he's faced. With runners on scoring position, 175 across the board, which is crazy, all right? So that means he gets tougher when there's men on base, all right? Like, this is a guy, he's 1.94 right now. That's his ERA. Are you crazy? Like, this is on a shitty team. Can you imagine on a team that can, get him some W's as well? Like,
yeah. Put him on the Yankees or the Mets or a competitor.
a competitor.
Put him on the oh my god, put him on the
Uh,
Dodgers or the
Dodgers,
Padres
oh God,
or the
that's gonna make a
Giants. Who
huge
knows?
difference. That's a huge difference for a ball club. That's trying to win a championship.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll keep eyes
Yeah,
on
well,
him.
if you're Pittsburgh, hold on to it as long as you can, because you don't know how good you have them until they're gone. And
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's gonna realize, that, man, what a waste. We wasted his man. Now he's somewhere else and killing it and winning World
Yeah.
Series.
Well,
Watch him end up in New York somewhere, the Mets or the Yankees.
yeah, I believe
Some
it.
majors or Chicago.
I think
You
he's
know,
Yankee ready because he has that.
he can take pressure. He's
Yeah,
good under pressure.
yeah. I think he can pull
Um,
it off. So
yeah, so I don't know.
last thing about the Mets, Alonso finally, hit his 252nd home run, tying Darryl Strawberry,
The most
and
home runs, right?
yeah, on the team, yeah, franchise, But the funny thing is, he did
252.
it. He did it a lot faster than Strawberry. Strawberry did it in he did it in 193 games faster than Strawberry. It took Strawberry 193 more games to get to 252 when you look at the numbers.
But
But
Strawberry played longer with the Mets than Alonso has, correct?
I mean, Alonso hasn't been
How many
around
years
for
has he
that
been
long.
with the Mets?
I think Alonso's been around for 6 years
Five,
now.
6 years, yeah.
6 years, 6 years.
Strawberry played what, 10 years with the Mets? Something like that.
Strawberry, I'm not 100% sure, but he was around for a long time. Remember, he played for the Yankees as well. He played for both teams. So it wasn't like his whole career. Alonso's still a career Met, even though he went into
I'm
free
yeah.
agency.
I'm just talking about Strawberry with just the Mets, not the Yankees alone.
I got you.
But I guess you can count those home runs even with the Yankees too. I guess that sound, but they're talking about franchise.
Not
Just
Chinese
all the
home,
home runs
yeah,
he hit, Strawberry
exactly,
hit with just the Mets alone.
exactly.
So Peter did it with less. I'm saying Peter did it with Alonso did with less time on the Mets than Strawberry did in the years that he was, with the Mets. And in Strawberry's days, they played almost every day unless they had an injury.
Yeah,
Where today,
exactly.
Alonso's gonna get a break.
Yep.
Someone's gonna cover him one day. Are you? Today's your day off. I call the infamous rest roulette. It's like figuring out which guy in the lineup is gonna get taken out today, even though he's hot.
Exactly. That
You
shit
know,
makes no sense to me. It's so
it's
crazy.
dumb. No one plays,
It's so
and
dumb.
they don't play with feelings. But Alonso's been great, man. He's carried the team, and he's
He
been very
was. He
humble.
was. He's not doing it now, but he was.
No, but guess what? Everyone's gonna fizz out. It's like a track race, right? I always say
Yeah.
this: you start out hot, and if you come out fast out the gates in track, you're gonna burn out the last mile of the game
One
of
hundred
the
percent.
race. You gotta learn how to pace yourself, and then that way, when you get near the end, you can really prepare. And that's what happened last year. Alonso, he was like this: neutral, 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 neutral. Playoffs came up, and he
Mm-hmm.
soared. Alonso literally carried the Mets by himself last year. You know what I mean? And that he got hot at the right time.
He
Does
did.
this, so
He kept us
hopefully
in
he
it.
gets hot at the right time again this year, or
Let's
Soto
see.
gets hot, which
Let's
he's
see.
been doing better, Soto. Um, but you need the other guys to do. The bottom of the lineup needs to come up, man. They're just not producing. And it's not a knock on anybody. It's just the truth.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You need the McNeils to do a little better. You need the Mauricios to do a little better. You need Alvarez to do. Alvarez has been doing better since he got back, but offensively, I think he could do more. He has the potential. He can hit home runs. He can get on base.
I agree.
He has those abilities. He's just not doing it. Now he's doing better since he got back. It looks like the Mets fixed him when they sent him back to AAA.
Definitely, they did. It
I
did.
was worried that it might mess with his confidence and like screw him up, but it did the opposite.
No, it worked
He's
out. He
able
went
to
down
stay
there, he had like
focused.
13 home runs. You know what I'm saying? And he came back and he was electric. He did well. Helped us win a couple of games, and then we all fell apart together. But
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about something that you said earlier that's very important, right? So this trade deadline came with like a whole bunch of reliever trades and bullpen help
Yes.
and like mass majorities, like a lot of teams like the Mets and the Yankees, they went in, they went and picked up a lot of players. You know what I'm
Every
saying?
team, if you look at it,
Every
every team
competitive,
that's been in the playoff is one
mm-hmm.
for pitching.
Yeah,
One
every
with
team
pitching.
in contention of the contenders, they definitely went after bullpen help, which is crazy. And it hasn't worked out for the Yankees. The Yankees were up 6-0. They bring in their new trio, and they lose.
They
You know what I'm
both
saying?
mess up Bednar,
All three of them. All three.
Duvall, and who's the other one? I forgot who else they got.
It's I got them right here. So it's
Duvall,
Bednar,
Bednar.
and then they have Doval, right, and
Yeah, he
Bird.
came to Giant. Bird.
Bird.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, I watched one of the games and he came in. He imploded.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
crazy.
and
So
then, and
that's
then same thing with the Mets. Trevor or Tyler Rogers, and then Hainsley. They've had their little hiccups. Not as bad as the Yankees, but they've had their little hiccups. So they haven't been producing like you expected. But they're not as big names as Bednar and Duvall. Duvall was both of those guys were closers for their respective teams, and Bednar has been lights out. Duvall has been lights out. I don't know if it's just that now they've been playing out of position once again. As far as when you're used to like I know I
yeah, a
always come in
slot.
the ninth inning.
Yeah, a
You
slot. You need
know,
a slot. You need a slot.
I know it's with Diaz. And other closers like even Felix Batista when he has to pitch more than 4 outs, it messes them up for some reason. Oh man, I got what I mean. You
You're
pitch
another
more than
another
two
one.
innings, it
Yeah,
screws them up, and they don't
yeah.
know because they're not used to that. They used to 1, 2, 3, boom. Now you got hey, I need you to come in the top of the eighth when there's 1 out. Crap, that's 5 outs you got to get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
They're not used to throwing 40 pitches in in an inning and a half. If you think about it, and that's what you're asking them to do.
And then you want them
You
to come
know,
back the next day and tell them to go up there again. It's crazy. But
and then hey, oh, I know you just pitched 40 pitches yesterday, but 1-0 lead in the ninth inning. Come on, let's go. It's like, come on, dude, you're gonna.
yeah,
But
it's
it all
crazy.
goes back to I think the reason why there was not a lot of starters traded for because the demand for starting, as far as the demand in return, was a lot higher than the demand you need for a relief pitcher. Because if you're a star, The only guy that maybe even Phillies, I don't know what they gave up to get
They got
Duran.
Duran, yeah, and they got Robinson too. David Robinson, the X Men, right? They got
Yeah,
him too.
but they didn't have to give up as much as they would if they had to, let's say, go for Skeens or Screwball or
Exactly. No, you're
I don't know.
right.
I'm just thinking of, you know what I mean? So
No,
they
there
would
was a
have to
lot
give
of
up more to get a starting pitching in most. Like for example, Sandy Alcantara Jr. They wanted the farm and they wanted the house and the kitchen sink.
yeah.
Who was
That's
gonna
why he
do that?
stayed. That's why he stayed.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So they're like, no, you just stay in Miami. We don't need you. We'll just get somebody else. You
exactly.
know, and just like and then if you're like if you're like the if you're a team that is not like if you're the Yankees, right? You really don't have a rich farm system, like the Dodgers do or the Orioles do, or the other teams. You only have like one, two good, three good top prospects. You're not gonna trade. The Yankees are gonna trade Spencer Jones for a pitcher that's gonna pitch 6 months and then he's gonna walk out the door. No way. You know what I mean? The demand is too high.
Yeah.
So and the game is geared towards more relief pitchers. Let me see if I can get my starting pitcher to pitch 5 innings with 80 pitches and give the ball to the bullpen, and hopefully they can lock it down. It kind of works because um, it's less taxing on the starter, but
I
it's
mean, in a
taxing
playoff
on
situation, you
the
need that. You need that. You
yeah.
need a nice, robust, bullpen because if you don't have that, you're not gonna win a championship. And all the teams that went out there and did it, you already know that they're serious about it. Not the Yankees, not the Mets. I don't think the Mets and the Yankees are gonna make the playoffs the way they're playing right now. But the Tigers went after a couple of guys, Kyle Finnegan, Montero, and Seward, right? He used to play for the Mets as well. Then Chicago, they went after somebody too. They need help, you know what I'm saying? Because Milwaukee's running with it. After Chicago was holding it down
They
for all
got
that time.
Kittredge. Yeah,
Yep.
Chicago got
Kittredge,
Kittredge from the
yeah.
Baltimore Orioles.
Taylor
That was a good
Rogers.
signing.
And they got your boy Soroko, right? He used to play for the Braves,
The
right?
Braves, yeah, Soroka from he's been in Washington the last couple of years.
Yeah, right. So then,
But
and the
yeah,
Phillies did the best. I think the Phillies and the Padres, Mason Miller for the Diego Padres and
yeah, they
Duran
need a
for
closer.
Philadelphia. They wanna try to make it, but we'll see. It's coming down
Yeah.
to nothing. It's coming down to nothing.
Well, listen, you got a month and a half because think about the season ends because the season ends September 29th, I think, or the 30th, wherever it is. So that's you got to it's basically a month and like 2 weeks before. So you have a month and 2 weeks. Mets gonna have to win at least 20. What are they? What 60 wins right now?
Yeah, 60 something.
In order, in my opinion, I don't know if 85 wins is going to guarantee a wild card spot. I don't know
Nah, I'm telling you,
because
they're not
the
gonna make
National League
that.
is really good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
better than the American League. American League you can get away with 85 wins probably. In the National League, you might have to win 90 games, and that's crazy to think that even win 90 games, you still don't make you don't make it, or you don't win your
Division.
division.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
And
that
this,
happens to that happens in the West, in the National League West every year. Dodgers always win 100 games. I think a couple of years ago they missed it, but they always win 100 games.
and Arizona won what 85,
And
maybe
yeah,
88 wins, and they made a
and
wild card.
Diego wins a lot of games too, and
And
then that's
Diego,
not
yeah.
enough. That's not enough, man.
San Diego win 90 games in the first place. What? It's crazy. That's what
It's
happened last
crazy.
year. I think only
Yeah,
what
it's
9
not.
wins.
Yeah, it was
They
something like
played
that.
Atlanta and they beat them up, but still, it's just like man. Because if you put San Diego on a different division, like if you
I
put them
know
in,
the smoke.
if
They
you put
smoke
San
everybody.
Diego in the American League Central with the White Sox
Oh my
and
god.
the Indians and the Tigers, they would blow out the Tigers too, in my opinion. Or even if you put them in the American League West with Seattle, Houston, and
Oh my
Texas.
god. Forget about it. They run with it.
In Texas, Houston Astros. Yeah, they got Correa back. They got somebody. I think they got some other guy. But they're playing well too. They're
Yeah,
playing hot. So
yeah. So now we're coming to the, which is funny. We just spoke about these two guys, and you happen to pick them, and you're gonna tell us who the gunslinger of the week is, and you're gonna tell us who the hitter of the week is.
yeah. So the gunslinger of the week is my guy Paul Skeens on versus the Arizona Diamondbacks on July 27th in a 6-0 Pittsburgh win. He pitched 6 innings, allowed 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 9 strikeouts. It's crazy because when you look at his record and you see he's like 4-10 or whatever it is, 4-7,
It's
you're like,
crazy. Yeah.
and then you look at his year, he's like 4-7. He has a 1.8 ERA. What's
Yeah.
the math doesn't math. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
but
that's
it does
just
in
true.
baseball. It does in baseball.
It just tells you. Oh, and then you look at it and you be like, oh, that explains why he's
That's
on
an
Pittsburgh.
amazing
You know what I
picture.
mean?
Yeah, it's an
You know,
amazing picture. Yeah, it's no run
and
support. It's okay.
and the hitter of the week is your boy Alonso, guy that's been carried the Mets first. First half of the season. The game against San Francisco. This is when they were in San Francisco.
Yeah, when
They
they
had a good
swept.
West Coast trip. They
No,
swept.
nah, it wasn't a good West Coast trip.
Oh,
It
they
was
they finished
they
the West
split
Coast
it,
trips.
split.
Listen, if you come back with a 500 record in the West Coast on a road trip, that's a good trip for me. So
Mm.
anyway, they swept. They won 12-6, August 2nd. He went 2 for 4, a home run, a double, a walk, and 3 RBIs and 2 runs. So yeah, so that's the hitter of the week.
Now
Um,
for the fun part of the game. This is
yeah.
the fun part. So now this is the fun part. I have a trivia blast round for you. So it's gonna be question after question after question, and you're gonna try to answer them. It's like questions that you should know, and it shouldn't take you long to answer based on your knowledge of the game, and we'll see how well you do. And if you get the question wrong, I will tell you what the answer is, and we'll move on to the next question. But you have a couple of questions here. See how
Okay,
you
I
do.
like to think my questions out before I
Speed
just.
round.
So
No,
I'd like to walk through my questions,
it's
like the
okay. You
answers.
can if you have to. Listen, but it's gonna be multiple questions back to back to back. Okay. So
Got you.
question one: what is the name of the award given to the best pitcher in baseball?
The Cy Young Award.
To the four. You got that right. How many outs are there in a standard baseball inning?
3 outs is in the inning.
Okay. What is the name of the award given to the best defensive player at each position?
Gold Glove.
All right. What is the name of the trophy awarded to the winner of the World Series? I got you. Stumped you right there.
Oh, wow. Dude, that's the name for the name of the trophy.
Yeah.
Wait. The MVP of the World
No,
Series.
the name of the World Series trophy. What is it?
Oh shoot, I don't know.
There you go.
I know what it looks like,
Mm-hmm.
and
We all know what it looks
Louisville
like.
Slugger. I don't know. Louisville. I don't know.
It's the Commissioner's Trophy.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, duh.
Okay. And
Isn't that
now,
what they call it in the NBA? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know what they call it in the NBA, but
I don't
what
know.
is the name of the stadium where Boston plays?
Fenway Park.
Okay.
Fenway Park. I gotta say the
Okay.
Boston accent.
There you go. Which team is known as the Cubbies?
The Chicago Cubs.
Okay. Which team was formerly known as the Devil Rays?
Tampa Bay.
All right.
I kind of like that name better than Rays, but that's just my opinion. I don't know why they
Uh,
changed it.
the Devil Rays is nice, and I like the hat. Everything is beautiful. The colors, it worked. Which team has the most World Series titles?
So Yankees, and then I want to say St. Louis Cardinals after,
Yes,
because
you're
we talked
right.
about this last
Yes,
the
you
last
did.
show.
Okay, who holds the record for the most career home runs in MLB history?
762 762
Yep. Who was the first
Barry
African?
Bonds.
Barry Bonds. You said it, Barry Bonds. Who was the first African American player in the major leagues?
Jackie Robinson.
All right. Now I'm gonna stump you again on this one. What are the three ways a batter can reach first base without hitting the ball?
Okay. Without hitting a ball, a pass ball,
Okay.
a walk, or a single.
Nope. He can't hit the ball.
Oh wait, he can't hit the ball. Sorry. Oh, I know. A pass ball,
Yep.
balk, or a walk.
Nope. Not a balk
No, not a
because
balk. That's right.
a
You
balk
have to be
is
on
on the
base
play base.
already.
Yep. Exactly. It's funny because I didn't think you were gonna get the pass ball. The pass ball, yeah. Because let's say
If you
you
sing on the
strike out,
strike,
and the ball goes away from the catcher. You can run to first and you can
wait.
make it. But there's one more that you're forgetting about. You said walk, and you
So
said pass
walk,
ball,
pass ball,
which
and
is
this
an
one I
error.
probably should know.
Yeah, of course, it's the easiest one. It takes one
Walk.
pitch. It takes one pitch.
Oh, intentional walk. Like
Nope,
I,
not
or
intentional walk. A
hit, or you
walk.
get hit, or you get hit by the ball.
There you go.
Hit by a
Hit,
ball.
hit
Okay,
by the
so that
ball.
technically it's four if
It's
you
no,
do
it's three. It's
intentional.
three because
It's
intentional
three.
walk is a
Oh,
walk. It's a walk. It's a
a
walk.
wall. Okay, I see what you mean. So, and if you get hit by a pitch. Okay,
Yep,
got
hit
you.
by pitch. There you go.
Okay.
And that's the end of it for us. That was a good show.
Yeah.
We will
So
be
Wednesday we should be back on normal schedule. Our work schedule was different. That's why we couldn't do Wednesday. Um.
exactly.
So yeah,
But
hopefully maybe on our next episode maybe
there'll be
the
a
Mets and Yankees
turnaround.
got on the streak. But in
Lies.
today's what, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 days from now. I don't see.
I'm gonna see that
Who for
happening.
Mets play Atlanta?
Atlanta.
In my honest opinion, you should be able to take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. You should
Man,
not should you
that's not
have
gonna
to,
happen. That's not gonna
and it's
happen.
at home. It's in New York, not in Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah, I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working a couple of games.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
working two of them. No,
Which
am
game? The
I? No,
first
I'm
first
sorry.
game?
I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm not working those games. I'm working on some other games. Series after that, I forget who it is. I think it's Seattle. I'm not sure.
Now, see, it's funny because Baltimore plays Seattle this week, starting Tuesday, and it could be a long series for Baltimore. They couldn't beat the Athletics, so they're not. They lost 2 out of 3 to Oakland, which is or LA, whatever you want to call them, Vegas. Um, they easily could have won 2 out of 3, but they blew it in the ninth inning.
Yeah, we play Seattle after Atlanta. I'm gonna be working two of those games, so we'll see how
So
that
you
works
have
out.
a oh, so you come. It's a 6-game homestand, Atlanta
Yep.
and
Yeah,
Seattle.
and Seattle, and then we go to
So if you
Washington. Then
go
we go
four
back
and
to
two,
Atlanta.
if you go 4-2 in that homestand, that'd be good. And when I
Yeah.
say 4-2, two out of those 4 wins have to be against Atlanta. That's your division. You got to take it every week. Like I wouldn't be upset if you lost to the Mariners just because they're playing really well
Yes, they are.
and they're a good team and they have good rotation. So
And they have a great catcher
but
slash
Atlanta,
DH over there too. Don't
yeah,
forget.
but Atlanta, you got to take 2 out of 3 from Atlanta. They
Yeah,
have
right.
no starting rotation.
Yeah, right.
But who
Well,
knows?
you guys have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple of
See you
days.
Wednesday. Later,
Peace,
bro.
brother.
Peace.
Peace.